Shut up and sit down.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 9th episode of THiRD SHiFT. I'm one of your hosts, Eric, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Matt. Matt, how was your Labor Day weekend, buddy?
Oh, it was pretty great. I didn't really do a whole lot, but it was nice to just get out and away, just be away from that wonderful place called work for an extra day. Haven't been doing a whole lot of gaming. Got a little bit more time in on Witcher 3. I'm pretty much right up on the end game with that. Played, a few matches of Battleborn. After we checked out the stream, of course, which we'll talk about more later in the episode. How's your week been?
Pretty dang good, man. I went outside a whole bunch with the kids because the weather around here was fantastic. Did a few more rounds of the Chaos Rumble, Now it's gone, but we'll talk about that here shortly.
Sad.
And in the World of Warcraft, I got to 110. So the game has officially begun again. But yeah, pretty simple week, nothing too big. We had the PAX panel, but we'll bring that up here shortly as well.
Mm-hmm. The other thing we did this week, of course, was our usual Talented Tuesday. This week's subject or muse or victim of our creations, I guess I'll say, was Ernest. I thought we all did a pretty good job on that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think you might have won this one this week, but I'll come back strong next week.
Well, I'm sure you will, because next week we're all going to be doing Miko. So keep an eye out for that on Twitter and Instagram. We'll let you know all about that.
And remember, folks, if you got some awesome drawings of that particular character for that particular week, make sure you throw them on up there, because I'd love to get some other competition there, since I keep clearly winning these things most weeks.
You literally just said that I won.
I said most weeks, didn't I?
You did say most weeks, but I think we can all agree you don't win most weeks. Oh, speaking of that, Howard was IMing me at work and said he wanted in. So I told him he can have his kid's finger paint it, or he can draw it and it'll look the exact same. But
won't everything just be pictures of cookies and fudge? I mean, are we going to actually ever get a character? Or... I think that's all he thinks about it.
That's probably it. Hey, draw Miko. Okay, it's a mushroom making fudge. All right, draw Montana. It's Montana making cookies. Okay, Howard, you're okay, whatever.
We got ourselves a classic.
If you guys have any art you want to throw our way, definitely tag us on the Twitter. Link us to your Instagrams. We'll definitely take a look at them.
All right, moving on to This Week at Gearbox.
So this week, first off, they had a shift code for 10 golden keys for Borderlands 2, but exclusive to the NVIDIA Shield. And looking back at the Twitter account, it might be over already, but they didn't put a specific end date on it. The last tweet I saw was from, I think, a day or two ago, saying, "Last chance, grab it up." And then all the tweet replies were, "It's not working for 360 or PS3, I'm sad." Just to clarify, only for the NVIDIA Shield. We might drop that in the show notes. Again, I'm not sure if it's expired or not, but if you have that and you've got Borderlands 2, grab that up.
Also, for those not paying attention or not following Battleborn/Gearbox, which I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but y'all should be, Joe just went ahead and posted on Twitter that they will be giving away some of those Mega Pax codes that they were handing out there at the show. So make sure you hashtag Battleborn, hashtag Gearbox, and pay attention for whenever the heck that comes out. We'll update people as we find out as well.
Those codes included, I think it was 10,000 credits, 18 loot packs with 3 legendary packs, and all the rest of them being commander packs. So guaranteed, skins and taunts and legendaries just coming out your ears. Then plus, I think 5 other skins for, I know Atticus and Alani were 2 of them. I can't remember the other ones. But I think he said those were either the Hex skins or the Gold skins for those characters. So definitely something to look out for. I'm definitely hoping that I get one.
Well, I know I want one. I'll be scratching eyes out if I have to. I'm not kidding.
I know. Just like the bear almost did to you.
Yeah, well, yeah. He paid. He paid dearly.
We'll see. There wasn't much in the battle plan this week. One quick hot fix to Ernest's lore legendary gear, which I know neither of us have. Apparently it was granting lifesteal to skills other than his explosive charge, which isn't what it was meant to do, so they went ahead and fixed that. In the community spotlight, we've got a couple of cosplayers from PAX West, which I thought was pretty cool. One as Alani and one as a Rendi. And then the only other thing they announced specifically in the battle plan is they're going to be having another Play with the Devs event on Saturday, September 17th. So make sure you guys jump on Battleborn, look for those devs, maybe kick some butt, maybe get your butts kicked, who knows. They said just like last time, they'll have some skins to give away during that event, so keep an eye on Twitter. They'll probably be posting up the SHiFT codes. I think last time they had skins for Oscar Mike and Wrath. This time, according to the post, there'll be Oscar Mike and Whiskey Foxtrot. So again, keep an eye on the Battleborn Twitter. Obviously, we'll retweet any of those, and if the SHiFT codes are still valid next week, we'll drop them in the show notes for the podcast.
Well, another thing that went on last week was the Pax West Gearbox Software panel. And we went ahead and got some new news in the Battleborn realm about Atticus and the Thrall Rebellion, which is those new little story ops from 1 to 3 players, which, by the way, is a correction. We said 1 to 4 players last week, but we had some misinformation. Who knows what happened?
That's really not our fault. I had the printout of the webpage in my hand, and it said, you and up to 3 buddies. And as soon as we recorded that, we checked it the next day, and it said, you and up to 2 buddies. So somebody caught it. Somebody probably got yelled at.
But anyways, it's up to 3 players, not
Yes.
4. And these missions are going to go ahead and take you to a very specific story, and you're going to kind of get a first-person little account of, like, Atticus. And it'll be different for the different stories, but this one will be all about Atticus and the Thrall Rebellion. And in those, you'll be going up against different waves of enemies. You'll have different objectives. The more objectives you complete, the harder it becomes, and the harder it becomes, the better your rewards at the end of said missions. And these said missions will last roughly, what was they say, about 15 minutes?
15, 20, I think.
15, 20, something like that. They said they want to make them a lot shorter so that players who didn't have a lot of time, like 30 to 45, 50 minutes, you know, some of those story missions take that long, could just hop in, have a great time, and hop out.
There's going to be, main objectives, like the usual story missions for these story ops, but they said there are going to be tons of, like, randomized side objectives, like, oh, hey, build 2 turrets over here. I mean, it sounded kind of like the challenges that we have in the regular story missions, but they said each of those side objectives you do earns you ops points, which are what ramps the difficulty up. But they also said the more ops points you get, obviously the better your rewards are, and they said there are certain skins that unlock at certain ops point levels. Like, I think they said 50 was, they just said like a plain skin for your character. I don't know if that means, just the palette swap types that we unlock from leveling up.
That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming it's just going to be a new color type for your character. And then, as you were going to say, when you unlock the max level achievement, you get the actual themed skin.
I think they said that unlocked at like 85 ops points, which I hope isn't the max.
I think that's what they said.
Because they said you could possibly get 50 your first time through. So getting the themed skin at like 1.5 times through seems a little easy to me. I'm sure they'll play around with how many ops points you get per whatever you do and how it scales.
Well, but that's also assuming we're good at the game.
We're good.
Since we can't even get a team together to go through a normal successfully half the time, it may be way more challenging than you think.
Well, that's true.
But anyways...
Speaking of the first-person kind of narrative story of these missions, I was definitely excited to see the kind of theming that the Atticus mission went through. We got to see like some kind of Sin City with, black and white with tinges of red. You see Atticus with like a fedora, like he's an old-time, hard-boiled detective. Anybody who knows me knows that is right in my wheelhouse. I love that stuff. So seeing hints of that and like tinges of that in Battleborn, especially as the very next upcoming thing, got me like all kinds of geeked. I love that.
That's what I was thinking just in my head right there. Was I love the way they're theming these things. And this one especially, Sin City was an amazing movie / graphic novel. And when I saw him in that fedora and then how they tinged the coloring whenever he came on to speak and whatever, oh, man, that was awesome. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to both that and then the upcoming ones, how they theme those toward those characters. Now, we were able to tell you last week that the next one is going to be Toby's friendship raid, all around Toby and someone trying to steal his mech suit. Randy Varnell dropped, during the panel, the names, at least, of the following 3 after that. He said there's going to be Oscar Mike's Battle School, Montana and the Demon Bear, which obviously we're all excited about here because bears and fighting bears. And then they also said the fifth one is going to be called Heart of Ekinar, and is going to feature Phoebe.
And that is going to be awesome.
It's just like win-win for you. Just, geez.
I'm looking, oh, geez. We can just skip right over the Oscar Mike one. In fact, I might write another personal letter to Randy and just ask if he can go ahead and throw the Oscar Mike one last and just give me the two good ones there, the Montana and that Phoebe. Oh, yeah.
Well, you remember, as soon as he said Montana and the Demon Bear, I texted you that in all caps and just said, like, Montana and the Demon Bear, yeah.
These story missions, I shouldn't call them story missions, these ops
Story
missions
ops,
are really reminding me a lot of Borderlands. You know, they look like they have the flavor that Borderlands had, that goofy, just over-the-top humor, ridiculousness. So I'm really excited to see it.
The unique narrators like Tiny Tina's Dragon Keep. You know, I'm even hoping for maybe like some Prince of Persia type stuff where it's, oh, you did this thing. Oh, wait, no, that didn't really happen. It really kind of went this way. Kind of like maybe some switcheroo type stuff. Oh, the boss was impossible to beat. Oh, actually, it was over here doing this.
And they could easily do that because, especially like with Atticus' story, you know, the spy master, Deandy, she's going to know a little bit about what actually happened since she's the one who told him what to do. So she might be able to pop in every now and again and do exactly that. Go, you are lying out your rear end there, buddy.
Yeah, I would love to see that, the dark, washed out, Sin City type stuff, and then just like, bam, color. No, Atticus, there wasn't a horde there down that alley. It was one guy. And then the horde shrinks down to like one primal thrall that he just plinks away with his pinky finger or something. Stuff like that. Playing around with the themes and the characters and the stylization of it. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
So for that, it's pretty much all we know at the moment, unless I'm forgetting something.
Just wanted to reiterate that Atticus and the Thrall Rebellion drops October 13th, so just over a month away now.
Yeah.
Pretty soon.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Also, for everybody getting ready for them ops missions, I want to make sure those who forgot or just never knew, they promised back when they were making Battleborn that they were going to throw in some Borderlands 3 Easter eggs into these suckers. And I just want to make sure everybody remembers to be on the lookout for that when the Atticus and Thrall Rebellion ops mission comes out. And for those of you who've been hesitating on getting Battleborn, hey, this is a good opportunity to hop into not only a great game, but a game in which you're going to start learning slowly but surely some Easter eggs on what's to come for Borderlands 3. I don't know how big these things are going to be or how small, so I can't tell you that, obviously, until I play and find them. But it's definitely going to be something else that I'm looking forward to with these new ops missions.
Personally, I had forgotten all about it. You know, I remember you talking about it. You're like, oh, I heard a rumor that there's going to be those Borderlands 3 Easter eggs in here. I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And totally forgot about it until literally today when you said, oh, yeah, I saw an interview that confirmed that. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing a story op mission on super hard difficulty, drinking beers with you and going, oh, my God, Borderlands symbol! It's a Borderlands symbol!
Oh, my God. That's going to be triple drinks right there. If that happens, it's triple drinks. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And we also got an in-game picture of Kid Ultra, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, we definitely did.
What'd you think of that one?
Like you had said before, he looked a little cooler than I thought he was going to. I mean, I thought he looked even better in the in-game shot than he did in the concept art. Because I thought the concept art could look a little chunky when he gets transformed into 3D, but they made him look pretty sleek, pretty stylized. I definitely liked the look of him. How about you?
Yeah, they definitely gave him the vibe of Mega Man. And that's precisely what they were going for, actually. They gave a little history on what their thinking process was on that, and they said they were going for 8-bit oldies but goodies, and they really hit the mark, for me anyway, with the Mega Man theme, because that's what I loved back in the day. So,
Yeah, and building off of that, they said that because he's like, I guess in story he was kind of like based on a toy line, or he was like the mascot of a toy line, that when he changes his skins, his sounds and effects also change, and they're all kind of based in that 8-bit, 16-bit, I'm imagining like chunky, crushed down NES-type soundtracks. I'm definitely looking forward to playing with him, hearing whatever kind of crazy sounds they come up with, and then changing the skins around, seeing how he talks, how his effects go.
What I'm really hoping for is I'm hoping for some taunts and or Yeah, some badass 8-bit taunts where he goes in,
yeah.
you know, and he does some kind of epic pose, that kind of thing.
Do like a Castlevania pose.
Yes.
I want a taunt where he does the Mega Man teleport out. He like jumps up and goes, or have that be his recall. Just he'll like hit the pose and then, whoop.
Oh yeah, or maybe even have some kind of like taunt where he gets scared and he rolls up in a little Samus ball.
Yes. Oh, that would be amazing.
But to reiterate, too, on that, they also mentioned again that he's going to be a complete support player. His whole mission in life is going to be to dive in, help out, put buffs, debuffs on, but he's also there to get the heck back out because they said he is going to be rather weak in the HP department because he's a support class fully.
Yeah, they said he was kind of based off of like a sidekick / fanboy character. The one ability they sort of like tease revealed, I don't know if they meant to say it or not, was his passive is he'll do bonus damage if he attacks an enemy that another player has just attacked. So I'm picturing stuff like Wrath runs in, knocks you up in the air, Kid Ultra fires whatever kind of everything he's got at you, doing all kinds of bonus damage. Or, oh, Alani just bubbled you, here comes Kid Ultra to just totally capitalize on that. Definitely sounds a lot of fun. Like we've said before, looking forward to a pure support character, little sidekick, helper out guy.
So that pretty much wraps it up for the Battleborn news at the PAX West. So Randy Pitchford went ahead and came out on stage, and he said that managing expectations is rather difficult, especially in his line of work. And he wanted to go ahead and let everybody know that at that time, they're not giving any more news on Borderlands 3 except for what we already knew, which is that they are in development and working on it as hard as they possibly can.
Yeah.
So he went on to have a skit with Mike, and they, did the voices of Scooter and Crazy Earl, and they had a little presidential debate thing going on.
Right before that, I wanted to mention he had a little sit-down with Mikey Newman, and they kind of went over how Scooter got his character, how he got his voice. I thought that was a pretty cool story. Just, kind of some behind-the-scenes stuff. I didn't know where the story came from, so hearing them both talk about it and play it out, I thought that was pretty fun. Hashtag thanks, Obama.
I'd actually forgotten about that, and that was pretty cool, learning, how he came about the voice. And then the way he did it there, too, at the end, he just came out with it. I was spot on, obviously, since he is Scooter.
I haven't really seen him doing, any stuff, so seeing the video of him and, he looks like this, he sounds like that, and then hearing and seeing Scooter's voice come out of his mouth was just, that was nuts, man. Mm-hmm. Well, same with Randy and Crazy Earl, too.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially when he did that part about building the wall. When he was mocking Trump there. Oh, man, that part I was like, awesome. Yeah,
that debate thing was a whole lot of fun, yeah.
It was a pretty good little skit. And then, of course, what was the crown and jewel was to unveil John St. John coming out and doing some Duke Nukem, right?
That's right. So he definitely came in and kind of took over and ended the debate segment. And then he stuck around with Randy to talk about the Duke Nukem 20th Anniversary World Tour that's going to be coming out on October 11th, they said. This is going to be basically Duke 3D, but with another episode of 8 levels, designed by all the old crew, using all the old tools, just kind of revamping it, making it look a little bit better, but not, like redoing it or remastering it.
It's not a remaster by any stretch, so don't go in thinking that. They just kind of spruced it up.
Just cleaned it up. Yeah.
And then, of course, added those new levels. They redid all the voicing because they said the voicing originally was just atrocious.
Yeah. I can definitely picture that.
Mm-hmm. But, I was never huge into Duke Nukem. I think the one game I ever played was Duke Nukem 64, which was basically just Duke Nukem on the Nintendo 64. It came out a year later, 1997, I believe it was.
Yeah, for me, the first Duke Nukems I played were the old, DOS Duke Nukems, 1 and 2, where it was still a side-scroller and was all squeaky clean, and you went around and collected little, brightly colored computer discs and stuff. I played Duke Nukem 3D for a really small amount of time, like at my cousin's house, which I always thought was weird because they were a pretty religious family, and we're like, hey, let's boot up this game, and here's Duke Nukem. You can see, dancing girls and blow up these pigmen. And I liked it when I played it, but I never got to really play it, so I am kind of looking forward to seeing what all the buzz was about. Plus, in these days, it's kind of nice to go back and play those old retro shooters where you can run around super fast, carry a million weapons, blow up all kinds of stuff, find secrets all over the level, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, I will say that I had fond memories of playing it. Looking at the little posters of the chicks dancing, that kind of thing. I remember my dad laughing quite a bit back in the background there at a lot of the jokes, that were going on, and it just reminded me, like you said, a lot of Doom, which is, fast paced, just picking up the gun, shooting the monsters, and I can't wait to go ahead and purchase it and hop on in and let you guys know what we think.
Yeah, like we said, it comes out October 11th. You can pre-order right now. It's, $19.99?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's pretty good for an older game plus some brand new content in that same engine.
By the original creators.
Yeah, like they said, they got John St. John back to do it. They got the guy who did the original music. He's back. The guys who did all the levels, they're back doing the levels. Getting the gang back together for one more go-around. Whoo!
Oh, yeah.
So one more thing I wanted to talk about this week is... we had Chaos Rumble mode going on for a little bit, and when we checked the other day, it's been discontinued. It's not available to pick anymore. So I thought we'd do like a little bit of a kind of a post-mortem on it, what we thought the pros and cons were, maybe a little bit of ways to improve it, because I know I've got a couple myself that sparked off in my head earlier today when I was thinking about it. I thought we'd go ahead and talk about that for a little bit.
To start off, I'll just say that I enjoyed the mode, and I think quite a few people did as well. I definitely like the option to go in there and just pick any character you wanted. Mm-hmm. There was no rules, no regs. It was kind of more of a place just to have fun and relax. Mm-hmm. But as we saw in several matches and some this week as well, that's not quite how it always went for everyone. I'll let you elaborate because you kind of brought it up first.
So just one quick note, there was something I saw on the Gearbox forums, just kind of playing off of what you said about it being a fun place to go and kick back and relax and have some fun. This person, I can't remember what the user's name was, and this is something we forgot to mention anytime it came up. They had global chat on in that. So if you had your mic hooked up, both teams would hear you. So he was saying that he didn't like it because, he'd get stomped by some team and they'd go, "Oh, noob, learn how to play, ha 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 ha." And I never noticed that. I know you probably didn't because we're always partied up, and we're generally matched up against a group of 5 who are all in a party chat anyway. I thought that was one thing to throw in there, something that I heard from other people that we didn't really run into. But the other con that we did run into, I mean, we mentioned that we ran into one round of it last week, was THiRD Jones and all his buddies, crewing up with all unique characters, playing all the, the correct roles when we're in there having fun, trying to be 5 Oscar Mikes or 4 Oscar Mikes and 1 Montana, just goofing around, and these guys are trying to be serious. That, to me, really took the fun out of it, because, I mean, if I want to play serious, I'm going to queue up in Incursion, and I'm going to play Incursion, and I'm going to be serious about it. But if I want to have fun, I'm going to join Chaos Rumble mode and just goof off. We had such a bad time playing that game. We both got so pissed off at that Wrath. It was just, as soon as he had you one-on-one, you were dead. And as soon as anyone else came in, he ran away. And it was just getting stomped over and over and over. That was one of the things I thought of would be a fun way to improve specifically that mode. Maybe give you a scaling buff for how many players are the same character. So if you have 2 Oscar Mikes, maybe you get like a 2% attack speed or attack damage buff. If there's 3, now it's 4%. If there's 4, now it's 8. If there's 5, now it's 10%. Maybe even just give it like a total overall buff. You get damage reduction, you get health, you get shield. If you're rolling 5 deep, you have a good advantage over people who, like I said, are being THiRD Jones and trying to play it in a serious fashion, but it's not supposed to be a serious mode. So that would encourage people to mix it up, play crazy combinations that the mode was meant for.
I would say it's a good idea. Another good way to play would be to do like a combo pack, like get 2 of one character, 3 of another. Mm-hmm. So to amplify or make that idea a little bit even better, I would say would be to have different characters have different buffs. So say you have 2 Oscar Mikes, you get a 2% increase to attack speed. If you get 3 Umbras, you're going to get a plus 10% to heal or something. So that way it also incentivizes you to come up with other creative combos and not just a 5-1 character and that's the end-all be-all.
Yeah. I can see that too, but I think the only downside of that would be people would find those really exploitable combos. Like, these guys give you damage reduction and these guys give you health, so Now, no matter what people are doing on that side as far as damage, we're not dying. We're taking no damage, and we have so many hit points to spare. I think that's why kind of a scaling overall, everybody gets the same kind of buff would be a little more. You don't really need to make the mode fair because it's a crazy goof around mode, but it would make it more even, where if we're running with 5 Oscar Mikes and there's 2 Arendis and 3 Umbras over there, maybe the buffs scale up a little better, scale a little differently. I don't know. That was my one big idea that I thought would...
Well, even then, that would be fine, I guess, if you think about it, because then it'd just be you got a partnership of 2 and a partnership of 2. That still gets you 2 points worth of upgrades, and if you got all 5, maybe a slight boost for that 5th, but nothing much that would change it.
Or maybe you have that scaling buff, but it only works within certain proximity. So if you're one-on-one, Oscar Mike versus Wrath, you don't get the buffs, but if your teammates come in, there's 2 Oscar Mikes in there, now they get the buff. There's 2 Wraths in there, they get the buff. Kind of give it like I said, a proximity kind of sensor for that buff.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, too. Basically, anything to incentivize people playing the same characters and coming up with creative, fun groups instead of just going in THiRD Jones and pulverizing the other group who's trying to have fun and just experiment with characters they're not normally going to get to play with together because of the unique character situation that's on the rest of the game.
Yeah. The other thing that made me wonder, why that was happening so much was the match we queued up for a couple nights ago where, I wanted to play a Meltdown. So we queued up for Meltdown, and we sat there for like 5 solid minutes waiting for a match because everybody was in Chaos Rumble mode. So to play devil's advocate, THiRD Jones over there was probably trying to play an Incursion, couldn't get a match for, I'm sure Incursion was probably still busy, but probably couldn't get a match because everyone was in Chaos Rumble. So he just went, screw it, we're just going to go ruin those guys' fun. We're going to play seriously in Chaos Rumble mode. Maybe that has something to do with it.
That's possible. I couldn't say because in that particular scenario, we did not try Incursion. So
that's true, yeah.
So I couldn't say that's a fact, but I mean, it's a possibility. It definitely, and it might not even be that. It might just be they came on and said, well, where the hell do you think all the people are going to be right now playing some Chaos Rumble, having fun? Let's go in there and, beat some heads.
Yeah. I mean, we usually don't have too much of a problem with Meltdowns. We don't play many, but it's usually not that bad. So I definitely think that probably had something to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, you can take it as an indicator.
People who want more casual matches like Meltdown and Capture probably just went, hey, this is where all the casual fun's going to be, Chaos Rumble time.
Yeah, as for ideas to change it, I don't really have too many. I mean, I enjoyed the mode for what it was. I agree with you that we should change it up somehow to where people who want to have fun, get incentivized to get in there, and people who want to be serious, stay away. Or, you know what? Here's a good idea. When these modes are going, make sure you have not the spotlight. What's the
competitive and casual?
Not casual, but the actual. It wasn't ranked. Whatever you wanted to call it.
Competitive queue.
Competitive. There it was. Bring back the competitive playlist, so that way THiRD Jones can go boom right on over to the competitive, and he doesn't have to hop into the Chaos Rumble or whatever creative fun time PvP event is they come up with next.
Yeah, I definitely like that idea. It keeps it from stealing the entire competitive play base and keeps them from leeching over into the goof around modes. That's a pretty great idea. I like that.
So maybe something to think about. But I'm more excited to see what PvP competitive mode they come out with next.
Oh, yeah. We know it's coming next, but that's the mode, not the creative mode. Yeah, I know they said they were definitely playing around with different kind of ideas, like faster respawn times, double damage, like cooldown reduction type stuff, just to make it more wacky and zany and off-the-wall fun. I'm definitely looking forward to what's next, though.
I'd actually like to see myself, the only one I thought of, and I think this would be a fun idea, is a Rumble mode. So you're getting like a 10-on-10 or some kind of insanely ridiculous amount of players where you go in or alt, or even if you don't go 10-on-10, which would be fantastic, take your normal numbers, but make it so alts are always up. So it's nothing but just ridiculous chaos everywhere and anger and... Never mind, that's a terrible idea. I would quit that mode after like 10 seconds.
You want a mode you will play half of and then quit.
Oscar Mike Salt's is up again. Why is it up every second?
Airstrikes are everywhere. Airstrikes and grenades all day long.
I can't deal with it. I can't do it.
Wrath would just constantly spin the whole match. As soon as he hit the base, just spin. Here he goes. Oh, he stopped spin. Oh, he stopped spin.
Never mind, folks.
Yeah,
Cancel the Alts Always Up. We're going back to the
Nix
Rumble,
that.
10 on 10.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Alts Up, not fun. I spoke too soon. I didn't think that through.
No, you clearly did not.
Jeez.
So what did you guys think of Chaos Rumble mode, and what other kind of crazy modes are you looking forward to? Let us know. Give us your feedback. And speaking of feedback, Segway Jones, it's time for the mailbag. Oh, yeah, mailbag time.
Ooh,
Random
nice.
question from the box. This question comes from Howard. Yes, Howard, from episode 1. You can't be Howard. Howard Wright asks on Facebook, I've really been enjoying the show and wanted to post this question. I'm considering joining the world of Battleborn. No, you're not, Howard. What I wanted to ask you is this. What character would you recommend to a new player that would be relatively easy to learn, effective on the battlefield, and whose characteristics would be easily transferable to other characters in the game? Thanks. That was a mouthful, Howard. What do you think, Eric?
I'm going to go ahead and say right off the bat, Arendi. You got yourself a high DPS class character who can stand in the back and whip out all sorts of versatile damage and really run little risk of dying as long as you don't get headstrong and go rushing
That's
up into
true.
the front lines.
As for me, I'd probably go Oscar Mike. Now, I'll grant you that there aren't a lot of gun users in the game of, his specific type, that aim down sights type of gun user. But as far as his skills, he's got skill shots that are pretty easy to hit. I mean, as soon as you activate it, you see a nice big arc. You see the areas where all his stuff's going to be. It kind of gives you that feel of this is how you place skills. This is how, you manage territory. And of course, his stealth generator just gets you out of trouble anytime you're in trouble. So I think, for a ranged class, I think he's a pretty good option.
Outstanding.
You got any melee people you want to recommend?
No, he can't play melee characters.
What about for anyone else?
Hey, do you think a goldfish could jump on land, grow 4 legs, and walk in like 5 seconds? That's about the probability of Howard playing a melee character properly is. I mean, holy mackerels. But if I had to, if you're forcing me because this is a podcast in which we're supposed to talk about this kind of thing, I suppose I would go ahead and say I would go with a Pendles just because playing him myself and not being great at melee except for with Phoebe, you go into a situation, gets hairy, you pop out. I mean, it's that simple. It gives you the confidence to hop in there and learn what it's like to be in the midst of it all, but then get the heck out, without any kind of, troubles or getting caught back into the fray and dying.
Yeah, definitely. I think characters who have decent escapes, even Phoebe, she's got a phase gate. Montana, he's got a dash. Anything that can get you out of a jam fairly quickly would be good for a new character. Especially Pendles, like you said, because you're going to be in there, you're going to be looking like at this giant character's back, and you're going to hit him a couple times, he's going to turn around, you're going to need to know how to get out of that. Even for regular characters like Eldragon and Wrath, this is how you're going to have to move around in that giant battlefield. I think that's a good pick. I think for me, the only other character I would recommend, kind of a ranged/support character, would be Reyna, because it's kind of your intro to healing and your intro to like a marking system, because obviously her priority target, you hit him, and then you need to know how to follow certain characters who are marked with buffs or debuffs, or, you can mark up a Miko that's standing behind the Montana, and it helps you understand this is who you have to focus on, because focusing down certain characters is a big part of this game, especially if you want to play at a high level. And again, it's a good and easy intro to healing, because you bring up her overshield and it locks on to characters. So it gets you aware of where people's shields are, where their health bars are. It gets you looking around for that kind of stuff.
Without being mission critical to boot.
Yeah.
Because like if you got a Miko or an Alani or an Umbra, not so much Umbra, because some people just DPS where they're to hell with healing.
Yeah.
But with Miko and Alani, your job's to heal, and if you're not, people are pretty mad at you. So you're talking about a character who, no one goes, hey, it's Arena. She's going to heal me, and this is what she does. She can get away with missing some heals or some overshields, and no one's going to be too upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I agree with that. It's a good learning character to get you in that support vibe.
Mm-hmm. And, maybe I'm biased because they're the first two that I played seriously, but I think they both have, good mechanics that translate well to the rest of the game, even if not directly over to specific characters.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for writing in, Howard. We appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to seeing you at work later.
And in Battleborn later.
Yeah. Like
Someday,
10 years down the road.
When that goldfish gets them 4 legs.
Oh, so that does it for the mailbag this week. If you guys have any questions for us, any comments, any concerns, any feedback at all, you can email us at info@thirdshift.me. We're on Facebook under Third Shift. We're on Twitter at ThirdShiftMe. That's ThirdShiftME. You can find us as Third Shift Me on pretty much all the socials. If you want any direct links to those, just go to ThirdShift.me. Of course, this podcast drops every Friday, so we'll see you guys again on September 16th for the next episode. You can find the podcast on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Podomatic, on YouTube, on Google Play. We're all over the place. Anywhere you want us to be, that's where we're going to be, so we'll definitely check you guys out next week.
And with that, I just want to thank all the listeners, as we do every week.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing. We love the feedback. We love the views, the downloads, the whole 9 yards. Keep it coming, and we'll keep on creating this old podcast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And with that,
don't forget to save.
Shut up and sit down.